What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tanay and this is another episode of Story Time. In this episode I'll be telling you the story of my horrible accident in Blythe, and I'm going to try telling you the story using this prop right here. And I know it's going to be hard to take it seriously because I have Lightning McQueen in my hand, but that's all I got, so let's get into it. So it was October of 2019, and I was doing a California West Coast road trip from San Diego to San Jose and back. And I was coming back via LA, and while coming back, I was crossing Blythe back on the way to Phoenix. And on the highway, we're just cruising along normally. There was a truck on my right lane that was open from the top. It was carrying a load of rocks. It was uncovered, and I was right behind it, diagonally behind it on the left lane. And the road slightly curved, and what led that to happen? So one rock got expelled from the carrier and hurled towards my car, and before I could realize what was happening, it hit the nose of my car, went under it, scraped it, screeched it, and then hit the rear left wheel. That one went all the way under, hit the rear left wheel, and burst the tire, damaged the wheel frame, and I brought the car to a stop. I was on the left side because the alloy wheel frame was dragging on the road, and the car was going all the way like that. The rock was pretty big, and the impact that it had with the speed, coming towards me, I was probably going at 80 miles per hour. And the impact that it had completely shook my car, almost ready to go off balance. Anyway, I take it off the left side and I assess the damage. I see that the wheel is punctured, the wheel frame is broken. Could not see the damage below in the belly of the car, but the nose was bumped in. The radiator was smashed in, and all the coolant had come out. So my car was pretty much, immovable. And out came along this cop, and he stopped. He asked me what happened, and he asked me to take the car over to the right side of the lane off the shoulder. Good lad though, and he stopped the traffic, and I slowly moved the car off to the right side. He told me there is a truck repair shop on the next exit that I should take, and he waited there till I changed my tire to the spare. I put the spare on, and then he left. And I slowly drove the car off the shoulder, and before I made it to the exit, I realized that my spare also went flat. I don't know the reason. Probably it was something on the shoulder, or or the wheel was damaged from the very beginning. I never tried it before, but anyway. So now I had two damaged wheels and a broken radiator. So my car was not cooling. This was mid-afternoon. So I had to stop the car every few minutes because it was overheating. And somehow I made it to the truck stop, only to realize that they only service trucks. They had no car tires, no mechanics to help me out there. And now it's getting late afternoonish. I didn't want to call a tow truck because I didn't really have any money to spend on that kind of stuff. I knew repairs would be expensive. So I Googled for car mechanics. I found one. It was at least, I want to say, 2 miles away from where I was. Now, I tried doing the same thing, shutting the car off every few minutes, but that was gonna damage the engine if I did it any longer. So I ended up calling a tow truck, and I called the car mechanic's place. I told them that I'm coming there with a broken car. They said they're shutting down in half an hour, so I was like, I'm gonna try to get there as fast as I can. But by the time I got there, they had already shut down. It was Thursday. I remember this distinctly. Now I was outside the car mechanic shop. It was like a big warehouse, sort of a thing, big garage. There's nothing around it, absolutely nothing. It was a few miles off the Blythe airport, and now I had a car that could not move in front of a garage that would not open. But it did. It was gonna open once again before the end of the week, on Friday. So I decided to wait till the next day and there was a few motels and stuff a few miles down the road into the town, um, but I didn't want to spend money on that. Uh, so I decided to just sleep in the car. It was horribly cold. I put on everything I had, and it could barely sleep 10 minutes at a stretch inside my car. Anyways, the next morning, I was so afraid. But next morning, they open up. I tell them about the situation, and they assess the damage. And since my car was my beautiful Saab, I love that car. Since my car was no longer in production, it was hard for them to get spare parts. So they had to bring a radiator from Phoenix. They took 8 hours to repair it. They realized we went out to get a spare tire. They also realized that right behind the radiator was the turbo. So my car had a turbo right behind it, and since the radiator was like smashed in, the turbo was as well. So that was damaged, and they said I should probably change that because otherwise the car might just give up any point in time if I press the accelerator too hard. Then I came up with the DIY to fix the radiator since it was smashed in. So we tried to put it between two planks of wood, straighten it out, and put it back in there. It kind of worked. It did not create a perfect suction vacuum in there, but it still kind of worked. And I saved money there. They fixed the radiator. Took some 8 hours. Cost me $700, but the car was ready to go. And all that while I was just waiting in the garage, I actually helped out with some physical labor in return to learn some car repair stuff. That DIY solution with the turbo was also my idea. It turned out really well. That car served me really well, and I don't think I'll ever love a car as much as that. I knew it like the back of my hand. Eventually, after that, I started learning more and more about car repair stuff, and I did oil changes, headlights, taillights, door handles, radio static. There's so many issues that eventually came up with that car that I fixed on my own. And those mechanics were awesome. They helped me out quite a bit. Finding the tire, finding the radiator from Phoenix did not charge me a hell of a lot of money, just what was reasonable in that condition. But my car was, able to run again for almost a year after that accident. And I'm thankful that the rock, when it hit the car, it hit it right here. Had it hit on the on the bonnet, it would have probably skid off, hit the windshield, and probably smashed me as well. So I think it was lucky that it hit the nose of the car and not just a few inches above. Could have been a very different disaster, but that was the story of my horrible experience in Blythe. And I don't really like that town anyway. It's got nothing in it. I don't even know what exists anymore, but yeah, that's the story. I'll see you in the next one, though.